Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. The three gentlemen on the screen will be no surprise to the viewers of Fixed Ops. They are Darryl Terrell from Mike Bauer's Chevrolet Metairie. They are Shawn Butler. Shawn Butler from Bristol Honda and Acura and Mazda. Michael Moore. And these gentlemen are leading the charge in terms of dealership culture and attracting and retaining talent. So, gentlemen, welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thank you for having me, Ted. Thank you for having
Thanks,
me.
Ted. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Ted. Good to see you
You
again.
guys got a lot of attention, so you got your own segment now at the roundtable. So congratulations. And I want to start the conversation off. And Darryl, I'm going to come to you if I can first. Talk to us a little bit about some of the challenges that you're facing in attracting and hiring talent with the various roles in the dealership, especially technicians, Darryl.
Some of the challenges that I experienced early on in my management career was I went out and I looked for the top of the line technicians, the top of the line service advisors, and you make them an offer, and then their dealership matches it, and then they stay. So I had a hard time, pulling the top talent from other dealerships. So what I did to adjust and how I adjusted and pivoted my game plan was I grew from within. I started growing my own people, growing my own technicians, and growing my own advisors. So pretty much that's what I did because, the struggles of, landing a master technician or landing a, top of line service advisor. And so you just train, you grow from within, and they do, and they perform the job the way you want it to be performed.
With all the talk about going out and getting that big talent, what you're talking about is so true, Darryl. I remember Ed Roberts did a big segment in Fixed Ops magazine about growing your own. So, Darryl, a lot to be said for that. Michael, what about you?
Pretty much the same, man. Just as you get into the role and you're trying to get that talent, you come to realize real quick that trying to recruit the top from other dealers really doesn't work. Because when you get the master tech, if they let that guy go, normally there's a reason why they letting him go. Same with the advisors. So the biggest thing is really just trying to figure out how to grow your own, coming up with some training programs a lot of times, especially for like the advisors, and figuring out a technician career path for the techs. So I figured I had to build that. I built basically a tech career path from express level 1 all the way up to senior master tech. And I had to put in there the training and all that stuff that they had to have. So just growing your own and figuring out a way to get people up through the ranks properly, not trying to fast track them, but getting them there properly. Just so when they get there, you don't really have to have the issues of someone being in a position that they're not ready for. That's the biggest thing.
And Michael, you mentioned that career path. You were a technician, maybe not all that long ago, right, in your career.
Mm-hmm.
How important is that to have, Michael, that career path for the?
It's super important. I was out at a career college not long ago, and the first thing a lot of the kids asked was, how long before I can make 6 figures? How long before I'm here? How long before I'm there? So I literally had it written out, handed to them. Hey, your first year you're going to make this. But within 5 years, you'll be at 120 grand if you go through it and, go through the career path correctly and to get your training, get your experience under your belt, and you're able to be, basically 110% efficient. This is what you'll make. If you're 100% efficient, this is what you'll make. And, that was one of the things that they wanted to know. Because it's competitive. Every dealer has something that they're trying to get technicians. And a lot of these young guys, they want to know where they'll be in 5 years. Hey, where would I be in 2 years? Where would I be in 3 years? So that's super huge. And being an ex-tech, that was one of the things that I appreciated. The dealer that I worked in one dealership as a tech really over a 16-year period. And that was the thing, right? I always knew what I had to do to get to the next step. I knew I had to take these infinity classes. I knew I had to learn how to do this. And from there, I would get a raise or I'll get another notch under my belt to kind of get me to where I was trying to go. So just being transparent is super important.
And Darryl, even though you're growing from within, you got to start somewhere. And like Michael's talking about the technical and the career colleges, is that part of your strategy as well? And I think our audience likes a lot of the stuff that they're hearing.
Yes, that's a huge part of the strategy. I actually I participate in an ASEP program where Chevy they send out some of our students to school, and I employ them 3 days out of the week, and then they go to school 2 days during the week. So when they're with me, they get a chance to actually come in and mentor with some of the master technicians, even mentor with some of the young technicians because some of the young technicians they can relate to, and
Mm-hmm.
and it works out pretty good. So far, I have 2 students, and they're doing pretty good, and they're going along well in the program.
Well, Shawn, we're talking about growing your own and providing that career path. What about for you?
I'm in total agreement with these two gentlemen. I've tried to hire outside in the past, previous places, and I've seen some of my bosses throw some big money out there for hiring bonuses and moving, and either they quit after a year or they say they're coming and they don't come. The most proven method is to create a culture and environment where people want to come to work for you. I was talking to Darryl this morning. He got 3 technicians want to come to work for him. He ain't even got a place to put them. That's a kind of good problem to have. And then when myself, I started an apprenticeship program here with the Umansky organization in the various shops. And I've already graduated one guy out of the Honda shop, another one getting ready to come through the Acura shop. And I'm starting the next one. We're not a big enough shop to have 2-3 guys going at once, but we, that's the way to get it. And we work with Northeast Tech here in East Tennessee. It's a 2-year technical college. Like 4 of my people that work for me at the Honda store came out of that 2-year program. And today, we're doing great things. And we've actually hired our first female technician, I believe, ever in the Umansky group. I've hired multiple ones over the years, but going to be the first one for this organization, and she's doing a great job.
It's amazing, like you say, you can put all the incentives you want out there, but if people come, they may not stick, right? And there really is no magic bullet. You've got to really rely on growing your own, and like you said, Shawn, creating that culture inside the dealership that they want to work there.
Well, the transparency is the key for us, right? I invite anybody that comes by here to walk through the shop and go have conversations with the technician. I don't even go with them. I'm like, just go, say, hey, how you doing? Or do you like it here? Or somebody calls in, I'm like, so-and-so, so-and-so, give them a call, see what they think, and most people say, hey, if you can get on here, come on.
Michael, we hear about a lot of things out there, with technicians, but really, it's technicians and their word of mouth, because technicians know what's a good place to work, and they talk to each other. And, the fact, like Shawn is saying right now, being transparent. And one of the people who was on the roundtable earlier was a technician, and he said a red flag for him was when technicians are not allowed to talk to other technicians. And I think you could relate to that as well.
Yep. So the biggest thing is, honestly, it's almost like when you have like a lot of dealers, they talk about making customers advocates and things of that nature. But in the fixed department, my biggest recruiters are the current employees. So I can give a couple of honestly, quite a few examples of that. But normally, especially in the shop, if you go somewhere and it was mismanaged for years and you got a couple guys that just hung around because they've been there for a while, and you come in there and you change the culture, and all of a sudden it's a good place to work. All of a sudden, everybody that quit, they still talk to them. And then those guys are in other shops. So they're telling their people, I'm going back to wherever to this dealership, and it's changed, and the manager is this and the culture is that. And so next thing you know, you're getting people back that you may want back. But ultimately, the shops that you do hire from, I mean, a lot of times those techs become your biggest advocate. And a lot of times they bring 1 or 2 with them. The last big round of tech hirings I did, I literally hired like 8 techs within a couple of weeks span, and 2 of them really brought guys with them. I interviewed one kid. He was like, I liked him. We talked. interviewed him twice. He came back a second time to make sure that it was a good fit for him, and it was. So that after I hired him, on his way out, he said, "Do y'all have a referral program?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "How much?" I told him, and he go, "Well, my cousin's a technician. He'll be here today. He'll probably be here today. He's looking for a job." And literally 30 minutes later, the kid was walking through the door, ready to interview, ready to go. So and once they started, I ended up getting in front of another couple of technicians once I hired those techs, because when they come in and they see, hey, it's a good place to work. And a lot of times it comes down to leadership. I will say that, a lot of techs, they come from shops, and a lot of shops have poor leadership. So when they, being a tech at heart, I know what a tech, what they look for and things of that nature. So when they come in a strong leadership, management's taking care of them, they got solid advisors. I mean, they're going to tell the guys at the last shop, hey, man, this guy's pretty good. He takes care of us. They have this in place. This is what we have going on. And next thing these guys are your biggest advocates. Those people that have been there for years and it was terrible or not that good. All of a sudden, these people become the champions of your cause, for lack of a better term.
Darryl, Shawn mentioned that you've got techs who want to come work, and they're gonna have to earn a spot somehow on your team. Look at the things, and let's think of some things that Michael is talking about here. The leadership that you three gentlemen exemplify in our industry is well known and growing. Darryl, talk to us a little bit about that. What are some of the little things that you're doing you think that are rubbing off on your team that are getting this great word of mouth?
So one of the main things that I do with I have conversation with my technicians in the shop, and I really read my technicians. So when a technician, or just in general a person, when you ask them how their day is going, they're gonna tell you a general answer. They're gonna say, "I'm doing okay," but you gotta peel back that layer and really get deep into a conversation. And I know what's going on with my guys. I know when a guy have an issue, a personal issue, I can relate to it. I know when a guy got beat on a warranty job and it paid, say, 3 hours, but it took him 7 hours, and I can relate to that as well. So I think I just create a close relationship with all of my technicians in the shop, and at the same time, man, we're all here to do a job, and I hold them accountable. And at the end of the day, I teach them how to win, man. How to, some jobs you'll lose on, some jobs you'll win on, and I teach them just to keep moving forward and take the good with the bad. And at the end of the day, it's all gonna work out, and you're gonna win.
Wow, Shawn, I'm hearing some great things. How about for you there at your stores?
Well, I think that's been a big part of a winning formula, right? Because winning matters, as we know, and getting that relationship and understanding your people. And it's not just a gloss over, like Darryl said. Having some one-on-one times and letting them know that you really care about them. Hey, I got a guy. His wife was diagnosed with a certain illness, and I ask him every morning how his wife's doing. Another kid, I noticed he was a little sick. I'm like, hey, what's going on, man? Come in here and sit down. Well, turned into an hour-long conversation. Those things go a long way. And I don't do it just because I feel like I need to. I do it because I really care. And I think that comes through.
Mm-hmm.
How about that, guys? Taking the time, Shawn, I've seen the photos that you post, of your employees, on social media.
Oh, they love that. Yeah.
Oh, and the recognition, right? And admiration. And Michael, how important is that to have that lend that ear, because people want to reach out to you, and not being too busy to do that, and be able to counsel them as well.
Man, it's huge. And I know these guys can relate to it. Darryl, probably in particular, being a tech, you'll get guys that'll see you in the seat, and that's super inspired. That, hey, this guy was a tech, now he's a manager. He's come through the ranks. I know Shawn said from advisors, say the same thing. And honestly, just being able to, number one, relate to them, and honestly, just be there. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I used to tell Shawn all the time when we worked for the same auto group. I was like, man, I don't know if I'm a service manager or am I, or am I a psychiatrist, But that's
Maybe
kind of
both.
a part. Yeah, that's a part of it, because if you got 30, 40, 50 people up under you, nothing's perfect for people, ourselves and our employees. So I always tell people, it's my job to make sure that I get the best version of you while you're here. And a part of that is being an ear. Sometimes to let sometimes they vent. Sometimes they, it's just hearing great news and celebrating with them. They love, I love celebrating with them. If they got problems in their personal life, a lot of times I could tell you what's going on because they, my door's always open, and and I'm known for being kind of just a steady person. I don't get up, never get too high, never get too low. So I think that's just inviting to them to come tell me all types of stuff. So I mean that's huge, man. I think and right on with Shawn was celebrating employees, because I know as a tech, we always felt we was the stepchildren of the dealership, right? Being technicians.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things, is to make sure you celebrate them and let them know they are important. That what they do, really matters. In a big picture, and it's just not, hey, you back there getting dirty, just fixing all the broken stuff. It's like, no, you guys really are the lifeblood of the dealership, is what I always tell them. So being there for them, and really just celebrating their work, their achievements, all of that. And honestly, and you get a lot in the lows, when a car gets broken or they can't fix it or something like that. Those learning lessons, and I have several texts, man. We've gone through the trenches of them, messing up cars or not being able to diagnose cars, and those, through me holding them accountable and all that type of stuff, I formed honestly some of the best relationships over the years with technicians, even when I was a shop foreman, and now as a service manager, it's the same thing. So I mean, you can find that light pretty much in every situation, and employees see it. They see it when you're genuine and when you really care, and when you don't. So you just got to be there for them, man. And it's a burden sometimes, but that's part of the job. Because honestly, that's probably 80% of it. You know, because that affects the culture so much.
I'm sitting here taking a lot of notes, Michael Moore. One of the quotes that you had, which I'm going to attribute to you, is "I want to get the best version of you while you are here." Darryl,
Hmm.
I think we all can relate because, even as the parts and service and fixed ops director, you report to somebody else. And how important is that your team sees you with the door open rather than, because Darryl, it's real easy, right, to close the door and get tied up with administrative stuff and paperwork and put all the stuff that's going on out there away. How important is that?
I think it's huge. It's a huge part of just being there for them. I mean, a lot of times, employees, like when I was a technician, I had things going on in the daytime, and I needed somebody to talk to. I mean, if I misdiagnosed the car, because that happened, I had an open door where I could go to my manager and tell him exactly what happened, and we could discuss and figure out a way to fix the issue or fix the situation. So I have that same policy with my technicians where if they mess something up, they could come to me and tell me, and it's not nobody's getting in trouble about it. We're gonna come up with a game plan, and we're gonna discuss a way best to fix the situation. So I think that is very important to have an open door policy and have your employees that come to you when things happen, when things go wrong, so that you guys could work together and fix the problem ultimately for the customer.
Darryl, remind us again, how many technicians, and do you do things like shop meetings, and if you do, how often do you get together?
Yeah, I have a shop of 21 technicians. We do a shop meeting every Friday. We get together first thing in the morning, and we go around a huddle and we discuss. And I ask every person individually if they have any inputs on the shop. Some guys speak up, some guys don't. And then, I mean, I pretty much discuss everything going on in the dealership, any kind of new news, any kind of fix right the first time reports that come out. I discuss the shop hours, and we keep everybody engaged. We make a little competition. Sometimes I'll give a shop hour bonus, and the guys, we compete for the bonus. And I pretty much like to have fun. We do cookouts. I see Shawn, you do the cookouts and barbecues. The guys love that, man. They get on the grill. But look, it's all about like, I just love being. I love having a fun work environment. I love my guys when they could come to work and they enjoy being there. I don't tolerate any negative energy. I like to stay positive and create an environment where guys perform and perform well. And I think that's the best environment to have, is a positive environment for optimum performance.
Shawn Butler, I think this segment's going to blow up because I just am enjoying listening to Michael Moore and Darryl Terrell. Tell us about these skills and the leadership and things that you're doing. Shawn, what do you have to say? First of all, give us the lay of the land. How many techs under your auspices there, and do you get together, and how often would you
I
do that?
have I have 15 techs here at the Honda store in 18 bays, and excuse me, at the Acura and the Mazda location, we have 13 techs and 15 bays, and I have 4 advisors at each store.
Hmm.
But like Michael hit on about the transparency, and Darryl with the communication, but the celebration, right? And having that even keel attitude, not too high, not too low. You can come to me with anything. As long as we're doing the right thing by the customer, you will never, ever get in trouble with me. And I have
Mhm.
made that perfectly clear to these guys. Whether it's $1 or $4,000, we're going to do the right thing by the customer. We celebrate. I have cookouts every month, win or lose. I don't care. We're going to still get together. And I celebrate these guys on Tuesdays and Fridays. Uh, at the Honda store, and on Thursday mornings at the Acura and Mazda shop. So, I like to be involved, and sometimes I got to get up there and apologize to them. Say, hey, you know what, guys, I haven't been engaged enough. I apologize. I've been distracted with busy work rather than accomplishing things. Um, remember, my door's open. If you need something, come on, let's talk. I'm going to be here all day. I'm out here in the shop with you. And I just got to reset myself to reality sometimes. It's easy to get caught up, like you said, with the administrative or the meetings or the reporting, and that can consume the squirrel, right? The
Yeah,
squirrel of
yeah.
the day can eat you up.
You end up just doing that or putting out fires, right?
Mhm.
Shawn, you got more than one location. How do you, just for those watching who've got multiple locations, how do you split your time up? Do you split your time up in one
Yeah.
spot? What do you do?
I start every day at the Honda store. On and Tuesdays and Thursdays, I spend the bulk of my day, like 90% of it, at the Acura Mazda store. But I do have a service manager up there. But because it's 2 brands, he's consumed with the paperwork and keeping everything straight.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I'm probably a 12, 13 hour a day guy Monday through Thursday. And I'm not going to lie, I roll out about 3 o'clock on Fridays. So,
Well, okay. So you've built and you are building and continuing to grow these organizations. You guys, you gentlemen are leaders in the industry. I know you, the three of you get together and compare notes. I know that, because once in a while I get copied on some of those things and ideas and things like what we want to talk about today. But, looking out over the horizon, here we are, middle of November, right? Michael, we're looking out. We only got maybe a month. We got the holidays ahead of us. We got the end of November, we got December, and then 2023. There's a lot of changes, a lot of things happening in our industry, a lot of forces. What do you see, Michael, as you look out? For the leaders who are watching you, who are taking good notes on celebrating the successes of their people. What do you want to share with the audience? As you look forward.
Looking forward, man. I see a bright future. Not just for me and where I am, but I just think for the industry in general. There are a lot of great technologies, a lot of great things coming out. I know a lot of people are afraid of EVs and a lot of the changes, but I think it's going to be great. Just like anything else, EVs is just another a powertrain. That's how I look at it. So it's nothing too crazy. But
Mhm.
I see the industry just going in the right direction. A lot of brands are doing a lot better as far as making quality cars, which is great for customers. I don't know how great it is for me in my role, but the cars are getting a lot better. So I think, and I think the consumer recognize that, which is why car sales has been last few years has been pretty solid. So I think the future is great. And I think from a fixed standpoint, I know I hear a lot of people say there's a tech shortage and you know this and that, but I mean none of the guys that I know that are great service managers. This goes to all those organizations that just got guys sitting in the seat. But the great service managers and the pretty good service managers, um, we don't have a lot of trouble hiring really good technicians, because we're growing technicians, and we're acquiring them pretty good ones and making them great. Darryl does it, Shawn does it. I can name 15 to 20 service managers that don't have a problem getting technicians. So I think our future is really good. I think we're on the right path to really helping a lot of people and changing lives. Like I tell my team
Mhm.
every day. I hired a kid a few months back. He, just needed a job. Now he's on that technician career path, and it's basically a life changing thing. So I look forward to doing that in the next year, with a couple more young guys and gals, and getting them in there, and and just making people's lives better. Not just technicians, but service advisors as well. I personally, just to put it out there, I struggle more with hiring great to good service advisors than I do with technicians. Yeah,
And
I think it's
you're reminding us, Michael, that
mm,
this is still this is a people business because you
absolutely,
gentlemen are all focused on the people.
that's what it's about. It's not really about the cars. The cars is the commodity. It's about
Mhm.
the people. Yep.
Darryl, what do you say looking out over the remainder of this year into next year? What advice do you have for the audience, and what are some of the things that you're going to be aware of?
I think some advice I have for the guys watching this panel and the ladies watching this panel is to constantly recruit, recruit at nauseum. It's all about the people, just like you guys had said. People. I mean, the people is what makes our business operate and what makes our business successful. So when you're recruiting constantly, you know, I recruit porters, I recruit cashiers, and
Hmm.
um, car wash guys. And my vision when I'm interviewing these people are not to be a car washer or to be a porter or to be a cashier. My vision is I'm recruiting service advisors, I'm recruiting technicians, I'm recruiting service drive managers. And so just like Michael said, man, that you took a technician, well, you took a guy looking for a job and you made him a technician. I have a similar story, man. I got a guy that
Hmm.
came in looking for a job. And I almost didn't hire him because I asked him what position was he applying for. He's like, I don't know, I just need a job. And I'm like, well, like how are you applying if you don't know what job you're looking for? And he's still vacuum cleaner at Kirby. And so I gave him a shot. I hired him as a porter. This guy work ethic was like I never like his work ethic was unmatched compared to anybody on my staff. Like he would do anything you asked him to do. And so I promoted him to a service advisor, and now he is one of my top service advisors I've had. He's hit CSI 14 out of the last 16 months, and so I mean that just it ignites something within me, man, where you could change somebody's life, man, and take
Hmm.
double the income, double the salary. So just constantly recruit. Even though that person in front of you, they might be applying for a cashier position or a service porter position. Just have a bigger vision for them, and then maybe they need somebody like you to tell them, hey, you could go further in life, and you could change their life. So that's what I look forward to. That's what the advice I give everybody watching this panel is just to change as many lives as possible.
And very astute of you to bring up that person whose background was at the Kirby, selling Kirby vacuum cleaners, because you know the um, the desire for a vacuum cleaner, by a consumer is not always all that high. Okay, and those are expensive, very expensive products to sell. And if somebody can sell that, when here we are as retail professionals in automotive, where people need maintenance and repair. Um, that's almost a perfect combination there, Dal. So you had some good ingredients going in, and you had the foresight to see that. And I like what you're saying, that you're looking out in the future. You're not looking at that person today as a valet or a porter. You're looking at the next advisor or the next technician. I like that.
It's all about the people.
Yep.
Shawn Butler. Okay, I'm going to let you bring it home. And what do we need to be looking out for here as we come into the end of the year and into next year?
Well, I believe one of the biggest things that we'll see going into the future from myself is, you know, people like to spend a lot of time talking about the EV. People will spend an hour talking about 1% of our business. You know, that's the infrastructure is not there to support the push that's going for there. ICE vehicles are going to be around for a long time. So we have to prepare for that, but also we want these younger generation, right? The ones that are more laptop and computer oriented, we want them on board with us. One of my best hires, guy walks in the door saying nobody would hire him, nobody would hire him. I talked to him, I was like, I'll hire you. The guy's getting ready to move into the apprentice program, right? He's the freaking best express tire brake guy you ever seen in your life, and nobody would give him a shot. You know, so I mean, you've got to be willing to think outside the box when it comes to retention programs, right? So I started one here that kicks in on January 1 of this upcoming year that they've never had this before. It blew the checks away. For every hour that they book, I'm going to bank them money and I'm going to hand them a check on December 1st in 2023, right? So just trying to do little different things to keep them engaged. I pay them off of their upsells. If they hit hybrid pay plans, right? Give them a security blanket. Make this their home by making sure that they know they're going to make money. They don't have to 100% depend on whether an advisor is feeling good and can sell that day. A customer's in a bad mood, you know, with their a guaranteed salary with some productivity bonuses. Then you have to hold yourself accountable while holding them accountable to make that work. But I think we're going to have to think outside the box and coddle this. I mean, our coddle might be a little harsh, but it's the reality. A lot of these younger kids, you have to point them in the right direction and then hold them accountable and coddle them a little bit till they feel comfortable. It's just reality. One of my best recent hires, I stole a girl out of the Chick-fil-A drive-thru. She's the best freaking cashier I ever hired in my life. She keeps the paperwork clean. Customers love her. You know, so I mean, I see a bright future. I'm hanging out with a couple guys right here that one of these days I'm going to be driving the freaking shuttle for them when they have their own dealership, right? These guys are these fixed ops guys that are going to go on and operate dealerships. That's coming too. And I'm proud to know these guys and happy to be here today.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate it, Shawn.
Hey, Shawn, one day in the distant past, you and I were those young people in the business who needed direction too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So,
No, we all did. We all did.
we got three great leaders here, everybody, on this panel, and I invite the audience to reach out to them. They're all on LinkedIn. They're easy to reach on social media. Michael Moore, Shawn Butler, and Darryl Terrell. They're setting the pace. They are the workplaces to work for, okay? And they're constantly, like you just said, Shawn, looking for better ways, ways to improve. So great job, gentlemen. I'm going to invite you back again. I love this, and I think our audience loves it as well. So on behalf of the Fixed Ops community, Michael Moore, thank you so much for being with us today. Shawn Butler, thank you as always, Shawn. And Darryl Terrell, thank you for all you do for our industry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving, gentlemen, to you and your families. And Michael Moore, Shawn Butler, and Darryl Terrell here today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Enjoy your holidays.
Enjoy it.